Good evening, good evening, good evening. Good evening to everyone, my Cocoon family. Glad to be here this evening. Glad to see you all. Hope everybody is enjoying their, what is this? Is it Wednesday? What a wonderful Wednesday. I hope it's Wednesday. I think it's Wednesday. Yeah, a wonderful Wednesday. Grace, favor, and protection to everybody. Hope everybody is continuing to stay safe, even though they're starting to open up different parts of this country and the city and letting us do things gradually. I hope everybody's still being aware and safe. I'm glad to see everybody. Just want to come on and had a couple of responses to the video yesterday, which is good. I'm not mad at it. I love responses. I appreciate the response. So for those persons that responded to the video yesterday, thank you. Had a lot of questions, more questions than anything, and that's good. That's good. First thing I want to do, for those that may not know, the ones that have joined the group recently, that may not have had a chance to catch the videos yet. My name is Malachi, and you are inside of the Cocoon. And if you need to reach me for any reason at all, you can inbox me at any time, or you can reach me at anointingminds@gmail.com. Again, that's anointingminds@gmail.com. Second thing I want to say to those persons, I always continue to encourage that you reach out and, feel free to inbox me or communicate, live or whatever you need to do. That's not a problem. I just want to continue to add. I encourage you to communicate in the chat, only because the questions, concerns that you have, other family members may have those same questions and concerns as well. And so the benefit of putting it in the chat is that when those questions or concerns get answered, everybody that has that same question can get the answer as well. So yeah, definitely I encourage you to reach out any way that makes you feel comfortable. But if you are skeptical about reaching out through the chat to where everybody can see it, I just want to encourage you that this is the no judgmental zone. I won't judge you. Nobody's going to judge you. We're all imperfect beings trying to get better every day. So my issue may not be your issue. Yours may not be mine. But definitely we're all in a growing process. We're all pushing to be the better today than we were yesterday, and better tomorrow than we are today. So I hope and I encourage that anxiety to go down and go away with. And we just, just like coming over somebody's house and you kicking your shoes off and kicking your feet up and just feeling at home. I hope everybody feels at home. So with the questions that were asked, I want to let you know that for that person or persons out there, you matter. You matter. I don't care what's going on. I don't care where you are, how you feel. You matter. And that's the first thing that we have to acknowledge and accept, is that you matter. So I encourage anyone who's struggling with whether or not they matter, let's just accept that right now. Let's see if we can just, push away all that negative noise that surrounds us and our negative thoughts about whatever it is, and just accept the fact that yes, we matter. I think the relevancy to that is, who do we matter to? And I think that's what makes it so difficult for some to recognize that they matter, is because it's the who do we matter to that matters. We need to matter to ourselves. I'm hoping that we matter to ourselves. I know that it's very common to want to matter to other people, but the first thing we need to do is we need to matter to ourselves. So sometimes you got to look at yourself in the mirror on purpose And I'm not talking about when you getting dressed or when you washing your face or, doing your grooming, putting your makeup on, ladies. I'm not talking about when you're doing another task. Sometimes you need to look yourself in the mirror and say, I'm proud of you. I am proud of you. Even if you may not get that from another person, I think it's very important that we be proud of ourselves sometimes. And just like yesterday when I was talking about loving yourself, good evening, Coach. Glad to have you in the building this evening. Glad to see you. Just like I was talking about yesterday with loving yourself, you got to be proud of yourself because it's hard. It's hard sometimes to get other people to jump on that bandwagon and be proud of you. And a lot of times it may not even be personal. It may not be a personal attack against you. It just may be that they can't be proud of you because they're not even proud of themselves. They don't see anything in themselves. So how they feel about themselves accidentally gets on you like a germ, like a cold. They sneeze on you by accident. Sometimes it's not even personal. Good evening, family. Good to see you and have you in the building, Marquita. Glad to have you, Queen. Sometimes it's not even personal. It has nothing to do with you. It's just because they're projecting how they feel about themselves onto you. Just like they project their fears about themselves, their personal fears onto you. People project a lot of things about themselves onto other people. So you got to be proud of you. And you have a lot of different ways and a lot of different reasons to be proud of yourself. I put a post in the chat a couple of days ago about changing. This is my own personal view about change. I think the hardest thing about changing is just coming to the understanding and the acceptance that you got to do it. We fight it all the time. We fight the submission. We don't want to submit to that fact that I got to change. But as soon as we just say, you know what, I got to change. I know I got to change. Changing becomes pretty simple at that point because now you've given yourself over to it. So if you made the decision at some point to change, I'm not talking about having a conference about it. I'm not talking about holding Congress. I'm not talking about going back and forth and talking about that you need to change. I'm not talking about that. Because we have many conversations with ourselves about what we need to do, what we should do, what we ought to be doing. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about an actual decision to change. Anything. Change what time you go to bed. Get more sleep. Change what time you wake up because you got to exercise. Change, you want to get up, be on time. I'm going to stop being late. Anything. That's a reason to be proud of yourself right there. Small victories. Small victories. That's a reason to be proud of yourself right there. Just because you made a decision to do something different than you did yesterday. And you say, well, Malachi, how's that gonna amount to anything? Because you have so many people in this world that are indecisive. And they can't make decisions. They just don't. They don't make decisions. They won't make decisions. They are not able to come to grips with making a decision. And somebody else has to make the decision for them. So even if you say, well, yesterday I was indecisive, I'm making the decision to not be indecisive anymore. That deserves a pat on the back. If don't nobody else pat you on the back, pat yourself on the back. Because you got to learn to be proud of yourself. The majority of the time, we have to just relearn some things. If you look at the conversations that you have with yourself on a regular basis, daily basis, hourly basis, weekly basis, if you just look at how much you really talk to yourself, where would you point the arrow? Is that a positive conversation? Is that an encouraging conversation? Is that an uplifting conversation with yourself? Or is it a negative conversation about what you can't do and what you shouldn't do, and it's just a depressing, downbeating conversation. You're belittling yourself. What type of conversation do you have with you? So it makes it very difficult, because when someone else comes in, you're wanting someone, like we talked about yesterday, you want somebody to come and make up for what you're not doing for yourself. You want somebody to love you. Now you're wanting somebody to encourage you after you've already beat yourself up. So you beat yourself up, and now you're demanding or requesting that someone else come and tell you something different than you've told yourself. Good evening, Queen. Glad to have you in the building, Kizzy. Thank you, family. How you doing this evening? We're wanting people to like undo what we've done. You spoke negative into your life because you had negative thoughts. Negative thoughts, whatever thoughts, positive thoughts. Thoughts contribute to feelings. Feelings contribute to actions. Actions contribute to habits. And habits contribute to lifestyles. So we definitely need to be aware of the type of thoughts we have. We have to be aware of that, especially when it comes time to decision making. Your thoughts play so much a part of your decision making. It's unreal. So you have those negative thoughts, and they just sit there and fester and fester and fester. And before you know it, you talked yourself out of doing something that you need to do. And now someone else has to come back and, you tell yourself, I'll never be nothing. This ain't going to work. I don't know why I'm even doing this. Now somebody else is responsible for coming back and saying the opposite. You are worth it. You do matter. You are going to make it. They got to come back and dig all that negativity out of your head before they can even, what they're saying even matters. That's why it's so hard for somebody to come in one day and tell you you're beautiful if you've convinced yourself for 40 years that you're ugly. You want somebody to come in and say something one day, and most of the time, what do we do when somebody gives us a compliment? We think they full of crap, don't we? We think they full of crap. We think they playing an angle. We think all of those things because we've convinced ourselves that what they're saying is not true. Even if somebody comes and tells you, you're a beautiful person. You're not. It's very rare that we accept it because we've already believed something negative about ourselves. So I need to just let you know that you matter today. You matter. You have to believe that. I can't believe it for you. You got to believe that. You have to. You have to take the time to celebrate those victories. You got so many people that are doing so many things to deal with life. Life is just tearing them apart. Life is beating them down. And I see it on Facebook all the time where people say, they post something and then they'll say, I bet you can't steal that. I think we need to start doing that with our lives. The fact that you're here today proves that you have not taken your own life. Life has not gotten you down enough to where you've convinced yourself to take your own life. Have you thought about it? Yes. Have you thought about it a few times? Yes. But the fact that you're still here says you haven't done it. So that's worth a pat on the back right there. That's worthy of going and saying, I'm proud of you right there. The fact that you still chose to be here. That you could have taken another way and said, you know what, I don't even want to be here no more. And you could have actually gone through with it. A lot of people say it, but it's a different story to, go through with it. Would you agree? So the fact that you took and you said, I'm not going to do it. And you said, I'm going to just give it one more day. Hey, that's proud worthy right there. Hey, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you. You be proud of you. You gone through all this hell and back, and you've cleaned up a section, It's like when you clean up your house. You can't clean up the bathroom, the kitchen, and the living room and the bedroom all at the same time. So when you clean up the living room, say I'm proud of you. I promise it's not stupid. It's not unnecessary. It's very necessary. I'm proud of you. Why? Because you could have easily given in to your distractions while you were cleaning up. You could have easily given in to that phone call or that text. You could have put it off till later. You could have said, you know what, I don't even feel like it, I'm tired. But the fact that you made the decision to clean the living room and you saw it through and you finished, that's praiseworthy right there. Say, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you, Malachi. And then you went on to clean up the kitchen. Hey, say it again, I'm proud of you. It might sound so silly to do that, but let me just tell you, why is it silly to tell yourself the positive, but it's not silly to tell yourself the negative? It's silly to tell yourself I'm proud of you, but it's not silly to say you ain't gonna never be nothing. Why? Why is it so silly to tell ourselves positive things? I'm gonna be something one day. So well, shoot, I'm something today. I don't have to wait till one day to be something. I'm something right now. Why is that silly? Why is that so silly? And again, you don't have to say it out of bitterness or out of anger or animosity because somebody else doesn't run or recognize it. You know, sometimes when we say stuff, we say it in the wrong tone. It's like you don't even believe it yourself. I am something. If you really believe that you something, I promise you wouldn't need to say it with all that bitterness. You trying to convince somebody else that you something. And you mad at that very moment that they're not paying attention to you. They're not listening. Why do you have to prove to somebody else that you matter? The first person you got to matter to is you. You're the first person that you got to matter to. You got to matter to. That's contributing to the loving yourself that we were talking about yesterday. And I'm saying all that because a lot of times what makes us feel like we're nothing is because we want to compare ourselves to either other people, which is the worst thing you could do, or we want to compare ourselves to the person that we thought we should be by this time. You're either going to compare yourself to somebody else or to the person you thought you should have been. I should be further along than I am. I should have this. I should have that. I should be here. I should be there. And you're beating yourself up because you're not at that place. That's prolonging you getting there. Because you're not going to get there as long as you're stuck in that mindset of negativity about yourself. You're going to be stuck there. So even if you want to change where you are where you are because of who you are. I am where I am because of who I am. So when we start looking at in real time and we start saying, well, I'm where I am because of who I am, in order for where you are to change, who you are has to change. Otherwise, we're going to be having the same conversation with ourselves next month, 5 months from now, 6 months from now, next year, 5 years. Because the interesting thing about time really doesn't exist. The only way we even give credit to time is that we look at a clock. That's the only way we even know that time exists. But time really doesn't exist. So that means it's going to keep going regardless as of what we're doing. Time still passes, and then we're even more mad at ourselves or more disappointed at ourselves for letting that time pass. So it's a lot of things that connect to other things. You know, you can't just have one thought. It contributes to everything. One negative seed, one bad thought, it tends to just connect itself to all the other things. So you have to be very careful of what you're thinking and why you're thinking it. Yeah, did you mess up? Yeah. Did you know better? Probably. But what really is thinking about the past really doing? What is it really doing? Name me one thing that focusing on the past really has done for you in the positive. For some of us, we have comfort zones. And I just want to pose the question. And I want you to think about it. You don't have to answer, just think about it. For those of us that are in comfort zones, how comfortable are you in the comfort zone? How comfortable is the comfort zone? When you think of comfort, you think of relaxation. You think of, laying back in your lazy boy recliner. You're in the jacuzzi and you're and you feeling all good and warm, and some people have a smile on their face. When you think of comfort, you're thinking of a place you just love being in, and you just, oh my God, this is just amazing. I'm going to be transparent, even put myself in there. Some of us have the ugliest faces while we're in our comfort zone. We look so ugly and we are miserable and we're like, oh my God, I hate this place. So why is it really called a comfort zone if that is the place where we're least comfortable? I think we need to rename it. I think we need to change the name of it because it's very uncomfortable in that place. It reminds me of a black hole where stuff just gets stuck and trapped and you can't get out. That's right, Coach. We do. We all deserve better than our past. We really do. We don't like it when we're arguing with people and we're in a conversation. As soon as somebody brings up our past, we be ready to cut them. And I'm not talking about stabbing. I'm talking about like with a razor blade. That razor blade Miss Seeley had. You want to take that straight razor and you just want to cut them when they bring your past up. And we think, well, you beating me with my past. You won't let my past go. Why are you holding my past against me? My question is, why are you holding your past against you? Why are we holding our past against ourselves? If we don't want nobody else to hold our past against us, why are we doing it? Yes, you failed. Okay, let's get that out of the way. The reason why most of us are afraid of failing again, because that's what it is. It's our feelings. It's not the future. It's our feelings toward something. That's why we won't have certain conversations with people, because we're feeling how they might react. We're thinking about how they're going to react. We're thinking about how the conversation is going to go. It's our feelings that are handcuffing us. It's our feelings and how we feel towards something that has us in bondage and incarcerated and in jail and in prison. It's how we feel. But yes, you failed. The only reason why you're more than likely to fail again is because you got consumed with the failure. You got consumed with the failure. You allowed the failure to beat you. You allowed other people to beat you about the failure, and you did not do what you needed to do as far as examining why you failed. If we were to do our due diligence and our research and find out why we failed, if we were to do our due diligence, that would diminish the possibility of failing so much. Not saying that we'll never fail again, but it would diminish the possibilities. At least if we failed, we won't fail like that again. We may fail another way, but we wouldn't fail like that. Because we did our due diligence. We went down the checklist of why we failed. We did our exam. Sorry about that, family. Had a weather alert come in my phone. Sorry about that. But we need to become detectives in our lives. We need to do some real bona fide detective work to find out why things happen the way they are. Do our part. You can't find out everything, but do our part to find out why did this happen, because we want to change the outcome next time. You're not supposed to just give up and never do it again. We get so consumed with the failing aspect. Let me tell you one beautiful part about failing, even though it's not said like that. Even though not too many people view it that way. Let me tell you one beautiful thing about failing. You fail at an attempt to do something. You made the decision to do that something. You cook and the meal doesn't turn out the way you thought it should. The good part about that is you attempted to cook. You made the decision to cook. So even if you're looking at it, man, it didn't taste like I thought. The fact that you deserve to say, I'm proud of you. You're proud at the fact that you made the attempt. You made the decision. We're too hard on ourselves at the outcome. We're focused too much on the outcome. And if the outcome doesn't happen the way we thought it should, then that's why we focus so much on failing. We view it as a failure. When you say, well, what do I learn? What did I learn from that mistake? And I'm going to just tell you right now, if the only thing you learn is a negative something, then you didn't learn. And I'll just use relationships as an example because that's what I see all through social media. Well, what did you learn in your last relationship? I learned not to fool with that so-and-so. If that's all you learned, not to fool with those type of people, then you really didn't learn anything. That's just you locking yourself up to keep it from happening again. There should be just as many positives that can't come out of your learning experience as it does the negative. Even if you learned all positive, that would still, make me think a bit. Everything not going to be all positive. Everything not going to be all negative. You should take some good and some bad, some right and some wrong, some left and some rights. You should take both of them from every situation. So for those persons that all you learn is, well, I learned not to talk to nobody, and I learned just to mind my own business and never to say this. If that's all you're learning, I hate to break the news to you, you're not learning at all. So let's learn to take away some positives from each and every experience. Stop being so hard on yourself, especially if you're going to just kill the person that is hard on you. You're going to kill everybody else for being hard on you, then that means, we need to stop doing that. Comfort zone's not so comfortable. Let's find another place to be. Let's find another place to be. Let's go, instead of sinking into the comfort zone that already exists, how about we go make another comfort zone? How about we go create something? How can I get better? Just because you fail at something, don't just automatically delete it and say, well, I don't want to do that no more. If you want to be something, I see a lot of dreams killed all because of, well, I don't want to go through that on you. Just find how to do it. Even if you're not a talkative person and you don't want to talk to nobody, you don't want nobody giving you unwanted feedback, use the internet. Google everything. But don't just stop. Don't just give up. Don't just lock yourself in a room and never come out anymore. Why? Because you matter. And if you matter, that means your goals matter. Your dreams matter. What you want to become matters. As long as you're not making decisions, then you're not becoming. In order to reach your becoming, you got to be fluent in decision making. And I'm not saying you got to make, everybody's going to make the best decision possible. You just got to be fluent at the action of decision making. You got to make a decision. If every time you turn around, you have to call somebody to make that decision for you, you will never reach your becoming. You won't. Because part of you becoming what you need to become has a lot to do with you making decisions that you need to make and not other people making them for you. So that's all I got this evening, family. I just wanted to come and address those questions and concerns that were left in my inbox about the videos, the love, and the other video in regards to keeping on pushing. You got to matter. You got to matter. Small victories, you matter. And I don't know how many different ways I can tell you that. You matter. Not in a cocky, arrogant way, but you matter. You matter just as much as anybody else matters. Just as any other imperfect person. Like, we all imperfect, so how is another imperfect person matter less than another imperfect person? You matter just as much as the other imperfect person standing right next to you. But if you want to matter that bad in somebody's life, you're going to have to back it up. I'm going to go tell you that in your comfort zone, yeah, you matter. In your dark place, yeah, you matter. In your quicksand that you're sinking in, yeah, you matter. You do. I'm not gonna lie and say you don't matter, but I'm just letting you know you're gonna have to step out of that. You want to matter more than you matter. You want to put some attachments on that. You don't just always want to matter right here at this level. You want to constantly become something to matter more than you mattered yesterday. Because it's going to be very hard to convince me that you matter or that you should matter to me if you don't even matter to you. You know, you can't tell me, well, Malachi, I matter. You don't even matter to yourself. You got to matter to you before you get to the point where you matter to me. So do me a favor. After this call, for those that are on it, or whenever you listen to this video, just go to the closest mirror, wherever you are. Even if you're at work and you got a mirror at your desk or whatever. Or even turn your phone on and flip the camera back so you can see yourself. Look at yourself and say you matter. Look at yourself and say you matter. Tell yourself, I'm proud of you. Let's just start with that. Even if you can't do anything else, you don't have the energy to do nothing else, and you know, hey, it's going to be a long road, Malachi. Even if you don't have the strength to do anything else, start by telling yourself you matter. Tell yourself, I'm proud of you. And then we'll go from there. We'll go from there. Hug 3 people, you know. Hug 3 people. Just if you're still out and about, there's still a little bit daylight left. If you're out and about, hug 3 people and let them know they matter. You'd be surprised how good you feel by saying things that you're not used to saying. I know certain things like I matter and I'm proud of you don't really come out of people's mouths like that. But if you just go and hug 3 people and look them in the eye and say, hey, you matter to me, man, that is a life changer to both of y'all. To you being the person saying it and to the person that's hearing you say it. That is a life changer right there. So family, I appreciate your time again. Enjoy the rest of your evening. I love you and I will talk to you soon.